What is up, the Lions fans? It's your boy Motor City Don P. We are back here once again. You already know what time it is. It is, well, one thing for certain, three things for sure time. When you see me in front of your TV, number one, the Motor City Cats are indeed back at it. Number two, we came to give you stats, not none of that static. And number three, perhaps the most important number of them all, number three. Want to make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic. And you may be asking yourself, how, Don? How, Mr. P, does one keep the Lions news pragmatic? Well, it's very, very, very simple. I'm glad you asked. And I will tell you right now, smash the like button, subscribe, share, and the sharing must be with your peoples. Because once you've shared these things with your mothers, your brothers, your fathers, your sisters, cousins, your uncles, your brothers, your fathers, your sisters, your mothers, you name it, you have indeed cared about those people, and you have indeed kept your Lions news pragmatic. We got some things to talk about today, and you know what those things are, because tomorrow, we are going to be here live in front of TV, and we are going to be streaming the Detroit Lions versus the Minnesota Vikings, and hopefully having a decent day. And the day would be decent because there shouldn't really be any crashing out tomorrow. If you didn't already know, J.J. McCarthy has a hairline fracture in his hand, so he will not be playing. Yes, he of 150 total offensive yards while playing us in Detroit, and still somehow, some way, leading his team to a victory. Now, if you want to say he didn't lead them and it was Brian Flores that led them, you can say that. But at the end of the day, he's at least better than, what's his name, Raymer, whatever his name is, who comes from Minnesota, who will be the backup quarterback. The NFC North will be full of backup quarterbacks tomorrow. Well, I shouldn't say tomorrow, but this week, as J.J. McCarthy is not playing, Jordan Love is not playing, Malik Willis might not even be playing. It may be down to the Packers' third string. Why do I mention that? Because if the Packers are down to their third string quarterback, it's just very, very, very likely that they will drop the game that we need them to drop, because, you know, the Detroit Lions must win out in order to get to the playoffs. They must win out, and then other people must lose. Like if the Packers drop 2 straight, right? If the Bears drop 2 straight, then the Detroit Lions will be in there. I think even if the San Francisco 49ers drop 2 straight, I don't think any of these things are going to occur. The most likely would be the Packers because, as I said, they're going to be employing a backup quarterback, but so will the Baltimore Ravens because Lamar Jackson is out with yet another injury. He is out with a back injury. He's having a very awful season when it comes to injuries. So whether you like it or not, whether you want them to get to the playoffs or not, the Detroit Lions are going to be fighting for their playoff lives, I think. Okay, we thought that they were fighting for their playoff lives when they were playing in the Rams. We thought that they were fighting for their playoff lives when they're playing the Steelers. We thought. So the only thing I can do is think. I don't know if they're fighting for their playoff lives. I don't know if they want to go to playoffs. I don't know if they all want to just go to Cabo. They're sick of the grind, of the sustained success of the 3 years in a row in the playoffs, right? Was it 3? No, it was actually 2 years in a row. It wasn't even 3 years in a row, right? But this will make 4 years in a row where this type of scenario could take place. The first year was the 9-8 year when we needed the help and we didn't get the help, but we had a chance to make the playoffs. The second year, we made the playoffs. The third year, we made the playoffs. The fourth year, now this year, we have the opportunity to make the playoffs, but we need the help, and so on and so forth. And you know what it is. So maybe they're tired. Maybe they're tired. Maybe that's why they're not playing their best. Maybe that's why the defense is giving up the type of craziness that they're giving up. I don't even think we need to do a breakdown of the numbers today like we usually do because it doesn't matter. The defense sucks ass. The offense running game sucks ass. And you still have to win these 2 games to get into the playoffs. So that's where we are right now. What up, the Tactical Sport? Says hopefully we can still that last place schedule from the Vikings. That would be nice. Right. We can steal the last. Yeah, I got you. Listen, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. This is a philosophical conversation. Again, as I said before, the philosophies have to change. You can't keep square peg round holing. You can't keep beating your head against the side of a brick wall and thinking that your brains aren't going to eventually fall out. You can't keep talking to a brick wall and thinking that it's going to eventually answer. You can't keep running up the middle with no offensive line and think that eventually we're just going to magically be able to run up the middle. It just doesn't work that way. There's nothing magical about football. No matter how much Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell want to think about it being magical, there's nothing magical about the situation. It's physicality, it's brute force, it's wits matching against wits, and that's what football is about. Now, here's a question that I have, right? How hurt is Jordan Love? He's got a concussion, so he's going to miss at least this game. Now, concussions are, finicky, so he's going to miss this game. He may or may not miss next game, because remember, Terrion Arnold had a concussion and missed like 2-3 games in a row. So you never know what it is. Here's a question that I have. Okay, because again, we are ramping things up. We are heading towards the offseason. I've started laying down the framework for the mock draft app. So it's gonna be a long off season. I doubt that there's gonna be any playoffs. Again, do you want there to be playoffs? Do you not want there to be playoffs? Does it matter about the draft pick that you're gonna get because you're gonna get some stupid ass position like a kicker or something crazy in the first round? Um, Here's the question that I have. You know how Dan Campbell goes into the game and we talk about the fourth down situation, and he said, that's just what we do here, blah, 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 blah. So, it used to be about analytics, right? It used to be about analytics, and the analytics say you should do this, you should do that, you should do the third thing. The more you hear Dan Campbell say things like, we're good, we like our guys, the more that you hear Dan Campbell say things like, oh, we have a 69-man roster while everyone else has a 53-man roster. The more that you hear Dan Campbell say things like, that's just what we do here, the more that you watch him run the ball up the middle time and time again, to the point where it bottoms out and you get 15 yards rushing in a game, and your star running back has 7 carries for 2 yards and a 0.3 yard per carry average. How confident in Dan Campbell are you when it comes to turning things around, changing philosophies, doing things differently? Because at the end of the day, football players, which Dan Campbell used to be, coaches, which Dan Campbell is, general managers, which Dan Campbell is not, all have to have a certain level of stubbornness. So my question is, basically, it's more of an observation and a question. Does Dan Campbell actually, okay, and also the other thing I have to throw in there, the people getting injured every single year in droves. Guys, get out of pads all the time. Stop having full practice, fully padded practices on Fridays. There's got to be something. When Dan Campbell says they look at everything, do you really believe that they look at everything? Do you really believe that that's what they're doing? Do you really believe that they're sitting down looking at things objectively? Do you really believe that Dan Campbell is going, maybe take the points sometimes? Do you really think he's going, maybe get out of pads on Fridays? Maybe not do that. Do you really think he's going, maybe this 69-man roster bullcrap is just that? It's bullcrap. Yes, there are people that we have to next man up. Okay, cool. We can't save. We can't stop people from getting injured, right? Next man up, cool. But at what point do you realize that your next man up, your 69-man roster, okay, is 53 regular players and 16 practice squad players that could not make the roster? Let's let that sink in for a second. $16 practice squad players that could not make the regular season roster means those players were not good enough to beat out anybody on your roster. They were not good enough to beat out anybody on your roster at their position. We're not talking about a bunch of guys on the practice squad that are like, let's say, Brian Branch, gold star. Kirby Joseph, gold star. Practice squad safety after him, 3/4 of a gold star. We're not talking about a step down. Did you watch Thomas Harper refuse to get into his gap all game against the Pittsburgh Steelers to the tune of 230 yards rushing? This guy, Graham Stewart, was, I'm a crash out. I'm this, that, I'm the third thing. He's a special teams player. And when we played up against the Colts, and when we were playing against the Colts, he did fill in for linebacker, and he was all over the place. So we haven't needed him for linebacker, thank God. But we tried to put him out there on freaking kick return, and all he would do was fumble. There's no magic formula for taking practice squad guys and turning them into the next man up that you can continuously and continually rely on. There is no magical formula. You're not going to make them starter level players when they couldn't make the roster. Because, like it or not, when you're on the practice squad, you are not on an NFL roster. You are not part of the 53-man roster that goes to play every week. You are not playing. You practice football professionally. Okay? Guys, you practice football professionally. Your job is to go to practice professionally. You're a professional practice player. Let me see, what are we talking about? We're talking about not the game. We're talking about practice. We're talking about practice, not the game. Not the game that we love, not the game where we give blood, shed, and tears, and blood and sweat and tears for. We're talking about practice. What are we talking about? We're talking about practice. We're talking about practice. We're talking about professional practice players. What do? I'm a professional practice player. I'd love to be a professional practice player. Love it. Love to be a professional practice player in the NFL. But I am a professional practice player, not a professional football player, a professional practice player, where it is my job to go to practice. Let me get to your comments, and then we'll get back to what else is the issue in Detroit. What up, though, Brent DeWitt? He says this offseason will be the most pivotal in his coaching career. Many changes should be incoming. More confident than I am in Melvin. I get that. Irv Gotti, what up, though? He says, I truly feel that there is something infighting between Dan and Brad. Dan is just trying to use what he has. I would agree with you. I don't think that's a hot take at all. I would agree 100%. Not to mention that they couldn't make any of the other 31 teams rosters, or they would be on a roster. That's professional practice players. Didn't we rotate 2 practice squad centers last game? Yes. Kingsley Aguakun is ass. He does not have enough bricks in his back pocket. He is not a center in the NFL. He should not be playing. That is why he is a professional practice player. He is a professional. And then we had Michael Nice. Who is Michael Nice? Who is Michael Nice? He is not on the roster. He is a professional practice player. What up, though, Mark Garcia? Not the game, but practice. Practice. Practice squad players practice. And perfect practice, man. Practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. Peter Piper picked a pair of pickled peppers while piping on a pickled Piper pair of pickled pepper in practice. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of practice. Hope Monty stays. Yeah, I was gonna make a video. That's another thing, guys. I gotta do more videos. And since I'm always in my car, like 12 hours a day, maybe more or less, give or take, I'm gonna have a rig so that I can go live from the car, so that I can make videos and upload and all that other stuff. It's not gonna be, I'm not gonna have the studio, you know what I mean? It's not gonna be the lavish production. I'm not gonna be in the Lions Lounge, but you know what I'm saying. I just got to get more content out. I'm not doing a good enough job with the content, and that's why the channel's not growing as much as it needs to grow. I definitely should have been at 1,000 subscribers or more already. So I know I need to do better. I don't know. I had an idea for a Monty video yesterday about my thoughts. I'm going to be putting a lot more shorts where we take from this stuff. I'm thinking of doing a thing where it's kind of just maybe an expansion on the things that I talked about, because usually people will do they'll do a live and then they'll break it up into 3 or 4 segments and then they'll post those as videos. I don't have time for that. I don't have time to edit videos and wait for it to upload and then wait for it to I don't have time for all that, right? Usually when I'm here, I've been working, I come back, I stop working for an hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever, do the podcast, go back out to work, right? But I'm definitely it's just depending on the availability of things now, but I'm definitely going to be doing that. So just be on the lookout for more content from me. Is James Houston leading Dallas in the team sacks? I'm just saying, is he still? But I mean, he didn't really have a lot. I think he has about 5, 6. I mean, that's not really an argument we can make now because AQM has like 9. So we can't really say. But would James Houston get you more sacks than Marcus Davenport? Yes. Would you be able to take advantage of? That's a philosophy thing. Let's get we're getting back into the philosophy, right? I honestly don't think that Monty will stay. Seems like a salary cap cut trade to me. When you start liking comments about you should get more work than your teammates, it seems to be a wrap. But who knows? Maybe cooler heads will prevail and they'll sit down and have a conversation. They love Monty. The teammates love him, all that other stuff. Great locker room guy, leader, which is why it's disappointing for him to do what he did. The DJ Reader thing as well. There's a lot of stuff, bro, that I need to touch on pause, and I don't get it. Just doing an hour live a day, as I said, it's not enough. Philosophy. I was talking about philosophy yesterday. I was talking about being multiple. Whenever I play Madden, which is not much anymore, I used to be the boss, right? I beat a kid 99-0 one time online, and he quit before I could get to 100. And I was using the Lions when they were trash. Madden is not real life. But as I said, I have a background as a coach and all these other things. So the point is this: whenever I play Madden, the defensive playbook that I pick is multiple D. Pause. The reason I pick this playbook is because it gives me the best chance to win. It gives me the most plays to be able to counteract what my opponent is doing. To sit there and say to James Houston, you're just a pass rusher, we can't use you, is crazy. It's crazier still when you understand that Brad Holmes has done nothing to address the pass rush in his tenure here. So you have a pass rush specialist, right? And you can go down the line in the NFL and look at people who you would call specialists who have wound up in the Hall of Fame because they did one thing, and they did one thing really well. And I made this argument last year when, James Houston was a healthy scratch every game or every other game before they ultimately got rid of him. Telling me that there's no room for this guy, but there's room for people like Marcus Davenport, Levi Onwuzurike, Josh Pascal, and the list goes on and on. It's not great, Bob. It's not great. What is it that we're trying to do as a football team? Are we trying to win games, or are we trying to have this philosophy that it's very rigid? I told you guys before, our team is so exclusive. Our culture is so exclusive when it should be more inclusive. What does exclusive mean? The root of exclusive is to exclude. No, James Houston, you don't weigh enough, so we can't use your supernatural bend, even though we saw it to the tune of 8 sacks in 7 games. We need you to cover such and such. Brother, I don't care. You're a defensive end. Yes, you need to be able to set the edge. If you can't set the edge, but you can get to the quarterback 8 times in 7 games, I can find a place for you on my team. I can definitely find a place for you on my team. Aaron Glenn couldn't. Dan Campbell couldn't. Brad Holmes couldn't. We got our guys. Our guys are 8-7. Did anybody realize that our guys are 8-7? Yes, Houston leads the Cowboys in sacks with 5.5 sacks. Right. I need Brian to stand 10 toes down and provide an honest press conference. I don't think he can do that because, again, It's the ego situation. Melvin isn't going to have an honest press conference. He's just going to say that the fans think that an edge just runs a hoop because that's what they do in Madden. Be like water, my friend, Bruce Lee. Right. And what does water do? It flows. Right? Just watch water. And this was the point of Bruce Lee's saying, be like water, be fluid, flow. What happens when you have water that hits a rock? It just goes around the rock. It doesn't just sit there and go, oh my God, this rock. Move, rock. No, it just goes. That's what water does. And we need to be more like water. We are too rigid. When your philosophy doesn't work, change it. It again, we rushed for 15 yards last week, guys. We rushed for 15 yards. That's 3.5 yards per quarter. 3.5 yards per quarter. Jahmyr Gibbs had 7 rushes for 2 yards, 0.3 yards per carry. What about that did you think was going to work? And while you were so desperately trying to get your run game started, the Pittsburgh Steelers were running for 230 yards. The Pittsburgh Steelers, whose offense is, by all accounts, cheeks. It's cheeks. It's not good. Aaron Rodgers coming into that game was averaging 3 air yards per attempt. Dinking and dunking. Like the whole hood is funking. Okay, this is what was happening. And these people came in here and beat you, beat the brakes off of you. They didn't beat the brakes off of you in the score, but 230 yards on the ground. Where's your pride? Where's your dashiki? Where are your capri pants? What's going on? Hashtag if you know, you know. Use the hashtag. Tactical sport. You better know that one. I'm just trying to understand, y'all. Like, winning in the NFL is hard. Identifying problems is not. Winning in the NFL is hard. Identifying problems is not. Fixing problems is not. Look at the New England Patriots. Look at the Denver Broncos. Here's a question that I have for you guys. How many of you, as Detroit Lions fans, would say that Sam Darnold is a better quarterback than Jared Goff? Just by a show of hands, how many people would say Sam Darnold is a better quarterback than Jared Goff? The run game is where our bread is buttered. 15 yards isn't buttering a whole lot of bread. Now it's buttering about a corner on a slice. It's buttering a corner on a slice. That is the Boondocks when they went back to Chicago. My name is Dewey Babagoon. Sagahoom, Mama. What was it? Mama Sa, Mama Sa, Mamakusa. Okay, so not too many people would say that Sam Darnold is a better quarterback than Jared Goff. Okay, Goff all day. Okay, cool. Now, would you say that both of those guys have limitations? Right? If you would say Jared Goff is a better quarterback than Sam Darnold, but both of those guys have limitations, then you're essentially saying that Sam Darnold has even more limitations than Jared Goff. Or maybe you're not. Maybe you're saying Jared Goff is a better quarterback, but it is the limitations that Sam Darnold has that make him less than, even though he may not have more limitations than. It is a complicated situation. It's a complicated scenario. But I'm thinking everyone would say that they both have limitations, right? Okay, yes, they both have limitations. So tell me why the hell the Seattle Seahawks aren't hampered by the limitations of Sam Darnold, and they play in a tougher division. Because when we have a game where we're talking about how Jared Goff didn't do this, he wasn't protected, he couldn't do this, he threw it in the dirt, he did this, he did that, he did the other thing. We are losing those games. But it seems like no matter what Sam Darnold is going out there and doing, they're 12-3. Right? Am I right? They're 12-3. Seattle Seahawks have 2 Super Bowls, and they're an expansion team. They came into existence, was it late 70s, early 80s, and they were trash. They were butt cheeks. And they have 2 Super Bowls. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers came into existence in the late 70s, and they were super duper trash. They were called the Tampa Bay Succaneers. They set the all-time record for futility in the NFL, which has not been broken to this day. To this day, it has not been broken. I think they were playing 14 games at the time. They went 0-14, and then the next year, I think they didn't win a game until game 13. So they were like 0-26 total. They have 2 Super Bowls. Both the Houston Texans, well, not both of them at the same time, but both the Houston Texans and the Jacksonville Jaguars this season have an opportunity to make it to the Super Bowl. The Detroit Lions, one of the OGs, one of the originals, they were kicking ass and taking names in the 50s. We got four world championships, but we've never seen a Super Bowl. At some point, something has to give, and I don't know what it is. And I don't know when it's going to give. But it has to start by looking yourselves in the mirror and understanding when you're not doing the best that you can. Because when you say, well, I mean, I drafted a project in the 3rd round, he was supposed to, no, just stop drafting projects in the 3rd round. Stop using your 3rd round picks like they're throwaways. Actually be strategic, because when you've used your 3rd round picks properly, you've gotten Carlton Davis, you've gotten Kirby Joseph, You've gotten a Lee McNeil to some degree when you've used your third round picks properly. But then you doubled back and doubled down on stupidity. And once you used your third round pick properly and landed a guy like Carlton Davis, you let him walk out of the door. Because he's not one of your guys that you drafted, so you didn't want to pay him. Let me tell you what, if you would have drafted Carlton Davis, and I know y'all know I'm telling the truth. If you would have drafted Carlton Davis, he would have got that $20 million contract. Am I lying? As Chad Johnson say, I lie for you before I lie to you. Am I lying? I'm just saying. I don't think that Sam has more limitations than Goff, maybe just different limitations. That could be true as well. The Seahawks have everything that they need to play around his limitations. Goff needs just about everything perfect around him, to include needing the best O-line that money can buy. Well, guess what? That's too many needs, my guy. That's too many needs. And that's who you've hitched your wagon to. That's who you've hitched your wagon to. You don't have the luxury of a redshirt season in the NFL. These are facts. Was Bromard a third round pick? Absolutely. Absolutely, he was a third round pick. Isn't that crazy? He wasn't even going to get drafted. But the Detroit Lions said, that's our third round pick right there. He should have gotten that $20 million. 100% he should have got that $20 million. But we were cheap and we gave $16 million to DJ Reed and we kept the $4 million for, it doesn't matter who you kept it for now. It doesn't matter who you kept it for, because whoever you kept it for, or whatever purpose you've kept it for, your team is worse because you kept it. You feel me? Whatever the reason is that you kept it, whoever the player or players are that you kept it for, your team is now worse. Okay, you know what you could have done to mitigate the oh man, that's $4 million a year. No, it's not. Guess how much it would have been if you would have taken $5 million and put it in the pot, right? Then that would have been more like $3 million a year, right? And guess where you get that $5 million from to leave in the pot? By not signing Levi Onwuzurike when he was already injured. Hey man, my knee ain't right. It just ain't. Nah, bro. We're gonna go get you an MRI before you sign this contract. Yeah, I think I just need to rest. You rest my ass. Pause. We gonna need you to go get this MRI, bro. Come to the facility. Come to the facility. Speaking of come to the facility, and this is just a side note. This is do y'all know that Brandon Ayuk had his contract voided? Remember when he hung out, when he held out and then he got that money and then he got injured in early on in the season? Do you know he got his contract voided because he stopped communicating with the team, didn't go to the facility, nothing. He just went ghost. And then when the NFLPA came and was like, do you want to sign, do you want to do file a grievance? This dude said, no, this man is crazy. Do you understand? He is crazy. He's got some mental health issues going on. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So anybody, well, it might be there in the offseason when he becomes like available after they cut him and someone says, hey, we should sign Brandon Ayuk. No, we shouldn't. That man is crazy. and we're not going to stop it. Okay. That 4 million is still sitting in the bank, and you could have had 9 million still sitting in the bank. Oh no, because if you would have had that 9 million in the bank, guess who you could have got? Kevin Zeitler. Guess who you could have kept? Zadarius Smith. Or you could have just given it to Carlson Davis. I'm just saying, it's a possibility. We're still 25 under the cap. And here's the thing, like I said yesterday, guys, Sheila can sell stake in the team to infuse billions of cash, because all she needs to be is cash rich. We don't have a salary cap in the NFL. Not when you can hire people whose job is to circumvent the salary cap. If you can hire a person who is a capologist and his job is to circumvent the salary cap by coming up with creative language to put into a contract, then the salary cap is made to be circumvented. All you need to do, again, salary cap is not real in the NFL. All you need to do is be cash rich. Jeffrey Lurie did it. The guy that won a Super Bowl with the Eagles, the guy that won 2 Super Bowls with the Eagles, he just did this recently. They won a Super Bowl and he did this. Why? Because he knows that if you can buy a team, you can field a team. And if you can field a team, you can win a Super Bowl. And I'm not just talking about any team. I mean a competent team, and a team that has stars and all-stars. Stars and all-stars cost money. Jeffrey Lurie sells team, not whole team. Jeffrey Lurie is still owner of team, sells stake in team, gets billions of dollars in infused money from now however many percentage owner, 30%, 40%, whatever have you. Now he has more money to give to players who are all-stars and superstars. It's not difficult. I'm telling you, this stuff is easy. So this offseason, and I'm telling y'all this, and y'all can clip this so it can be very clear, because I'm gonna crash out this offseason when somebody comes in with the different size font telling me how we ain't got no money and we up against the salary cap. Bull shnikes. Jared Goff's got a $70 million cap hit. You think that's gonna happen? You think that's gonna happen, bro? You think they're gonna let that man count 70 million against the cap in 1 year? Are you crazy? Have you lost your damn mind? It's gonna be restructured. Panay Sewell, Amon-Ra St. Brown, restructure. Instantly open up freaking damn 200 million in cap space. What are you talking about? It's going to be restructured. It's not going to sit there. And I know, Tactical, I'm not attacking you at all. I'm just expanding and expounding on your comment. So everybody, every Detroit Lions fan, right? Is 62 of y'all in here right now. Every one of you that thinks that is preparing yourself to accept the poor talk, right? You're preparing yourself right now to accept the poor talk in the offseason, to accept the fact that we couldn't get free agent signing A, B, C, D, E, F, or G because we didn't have a single cent dime to our name. Don't accept that bull crap because it's all a lie. Just like the salary cap in the NFL, it is all a lie. When you look at a person's contract, again, we went over Kirby Joseph's contract. When you look at the contract, it looks like he's getting paid, or when you look at the totality of the contract, the number, it looks like he's getting paid $21.5 million or $21.12 million a year. No, he's not. He has very few base salary. Like his base salary is low because it's full of escalators, de-escalators. It's full of clauses. It's full of freaking options, workout bonuses. Like all of this stuff is done to not have cap hits. Because just because a person looks like they're making $21 million a year, that doesn't mean that $21 million a year goes towards the cap. And that's what y'all have to realize. It's not going towards the cap. $21 million a year could be $2 million against the cap. Remember, and I will keep telling y'all this because there's people, you got to keep saying things sometimes before people get it. Matthew Stafford, when he went to the Rams, had a $60 million cap hit, whittled down with the stroke of a pen to $1 million. They took $59 million off of his cap hit by converting the whole cap hit to a signing bonus. This is why you get the money off the books really quickly, and it's no longer against the cap. That's why you have to be cash rich. That's why you have to be cash rich, because the way that it comes off of the books, if you can get it off there instantaneously, then it's no longer affecting your cap. Here you go, signing bonus, take this $60 million, it's yours, get out of here. Now, what did I do with that? If your base salary for that year was $65 million and your whole cap hit was all base salary, so you had a $65 million cap hit, and I took $60 million and gave it to you on signing, how much is your cap hit? $5 million, just in case. Now we are currently $55 million over the cap for next season. Yep. And we're going Jared Goff. Oh, we're right under. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Penei Sewell, we're right under. All season, we need to be looking for quality talent such as backup QB, center, edge, O-line, and safety. Why can other teams get needed pieces, but the Lions can't? Philosophy, bro. It's the philosophy. That's what I'm telling you. It's the philosophy. We want to cry poor. We want to cry broke. We want to raise ticket prices. We have the highest ticket price in the NFL. And people want to say, well, we've got $1 billion tied up in 9 people. Get more billions. It's just that simple, bro. Get more billions. Why did Jeffrey Lurie do it? Why did Mark Cuban do it in the NBA? Why is it an option for Jeffrey Lurie, Super Bowl winning team, Super Bowl winning owner, and it's not an option for Sheila Ford Hamp? It's an option, bro. It's an option for everybody. Everybody can do the same thing that everybody else does. If you need more money as a billionaire, go get more money. That's how it works. When you're a billionaire, if you need more money, you just go get more money. It's the rest of us that are broke and need more money who can't just go get more money because the system isn't made to do that. In the NFL, you can just go get more money, bro. I'm telling you, and I'm not telling you to just go get more money and not actually tell you how to go get more money. I'm telling you how to do it. Don't want brag on, but this season is mostly on him, in my opinion. We needed a piece or two to keep this train rolling. Moneyball Lions isn't working. Moneyball Lions isn't working. Moneyball Tigers isn't working. Moneyball doesn't work. It doesn't work in an era in which the salary cap continues to climb higher and higher and higher every single year, because we've got all these people coming in with Netflix, we got Amazon Prime, we got these networks coming in, they're paying money, these streaming services are coming in, they're paying money. Like the TV deal is worth trillions of dollars. Okay, this is not the time to be cheap. And if one of you people in here has any influence within the Lions, if you know somebody who knows somebody, tell Sheila to sell shares of the team to get more money. So once you get more money, then you can get more players because you can put more money into escrow. Why do you have to be cash rich? Again, it's a simple principle. You have to be cash rich because whatever money that is guaranteed in your contract must go into escrow, which means it has to go into account and sit there so that it is indeed and truly guaranteed. If I have Aiden Hutchinson getting paid $180 million and $160 million of that is guaranteed, guess what? $160 million has to go into escrow and has to sit there. It can't be touched. Because when it's 160 guaranteed, it's guaranteed. You can't borrow on it. You can't loan on it. You can't do any. You can't take it out to use it as collateral. No, it's got to sit there. And that's why you need more billions. And that's why you go get more billions. It's very simple. All right, guys. Mailbag, mailbag. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they reading you? Mailbag, snick, mailbag. Get your mailbag questions in. Get them in. Bask in it. All right. I really don't have a prediction for this game, bro. I don't know. I'm not excited about the game. I don't feel like the Lions were excited about the game last week. DJ Reader said while he was telling, the dude to glax them sclounce, if you know, hashtag, use the hashtag. He said he knows more about what is going on behind the scenes. My man, Irv Gotti earlier alluded to the fact that there may be some infighting between Brad and Dan. And I can believe that. I can believe it. I can believe that there is something going on at Allen Park that we are not privy to, which is leading to a lot of this crap. You don't have a listless and lifeless team come out there 2 second halves in a row when your playoff future is on the line. So do I expect them to beat the Vikings? I guess it's a backup quarterback. I guess generally when Justin Jefferson hasn't had a great season. When you got a backup quarterback in there that can't find him, that can't connect with him. JJ McCarthy couldn't find him or connect with him. The first few games he was in. Carson Wentz is out for the season. You got a rookie from the University of Minnesota that was undrafted. I don't expect you to lose to the Vikings. But it also doesn't matter if you win or not, because if the Packers simply win this week, then your chances are pretty much you got no chance, right? Because I don't think the Bears. So you got the Bears and the 49ers coming up, right? The 49ers can do you a favor, right? They can beat the Bears. If they beat the Bears, then you can beat the Bears. And that's the two games that they drop to get you in. So one of those teams got to lose to, this week. If both of them lost, that would be fantastic because then you have a two-way situation where you win, you take care of business, and then you go to the Bears and you try to take care of business in Chicago. But then again, we've got a quarterback who can't play outside when it's cold. He can't play outside when it's rainy. He can't play outside when it's windy. It's the NFL. You got to play outside, bro. Got to play in the elements. All the weather that you come across is not going to be California sunshine or Florida sunshine. You gotta do better, bro. So that's what that is. But they gotta win. So are they gonna win? If they want to make the playoffs, there's no other choice. This is poop or get off the pot time. Mailbag. What up, though? Lamino Cardenas says, "What up, though? Don P is What up, though? Don P is preaching. It's true. In order to win a Super Bowl, owners often spend than not. Facts. You gotta spend. Spend the money. I know one that they better lower the ticket prices next season. I would like to go to a game next season. Probably miss a week of school. They're not raising them. She's already said they're not raising them. I don't know if they're going to lower them, but they're definitely not raising them. Yes, Jordan Love is out. We know he's got a concussion. Hope we win out, but more importantly, looking to see how much fight we show. Should tell a lot about the locker room. I mean, I feel like in the first half against the Steelers, they showed some fight. I feel like in the first half against the Rams, they showed some fight. But I feel like they laid down in the second half of both of those games, particularly in the third quarter. You can't have a third quarter where you get 5 yards like you did with the Rams. You can't have a third quarter where you get -3 yards like you did against the Steelers. You just can't do it. Can't do those things and win. It just doesn't work. Correct. This is not the time to be cheap. If we are Super Bowl bound, then act as such. Enough with the grit and rebuild crap. The team is destroying itself from the inside out. Facts, facts, and more facts. That is what it is. As I said, it's time to poop or get off the pot. You know what I mean? Enough with the projects, enough with the our guys garbage, enough with the exclusivity. We need some inclusivity, bro. If a dude is a dog and he loves football, fine. I don't care. Right? You know, if he's got a proven track record and he's not injured all the time, I don't care. Bring him in. Because he can help your team. Go in the offseason, go sign linemen. The Bears did it, bro. And we laugh at the Bears for 3-4 straight years talking about they were the offseason champs every year. And finally, it's come to fruition. Finally, they've done it. And we don't need 3-4 years of being offseason champs. We need to be offseason champs this year because we have the nucleus and the core of players to say, okay, now we won the offseason. Oh, we're going to go to the Super Bowl next year. We never win the offseason. Now is the time when you do not have a completely depleted team, when you have a team that's ready to go, but we got some holes to fill. Fill the holes while winning the offseason, and you go to the Super Bowl next year. Everybody in the NFC North did what they needed to do to get better while the Detroit Lions sat on their hands and didn't do squat. So look at Monty's face last game, explained a lot. I think he's gone, but like I said, I'm going to try to get a video out about that. All right, y'all. Appreciate you once again for coming through. I know I was late today. Had Hey, we might do a few more later streams whenever I have some stuff to do. If you guys um would like. I know during the off season it's probably gonna be a possibility. I don't know. But that is what it is. I appreciate you. I'm gonna go ahead and get back to work out here. Once again, the Motor City Cats are indeed back at it. We came to give you stats, not none of that static. Whatever you do, make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic and join us here tomorrow while we are streaming this game against the Minnesota Vikings. We will be here. We will be doing it real big. All right. So everybody enjoy what you're going to enjoy. Celebrate what you celebrate. We will be out. See you tomorrow. Peace.